Ja, aber ich weiß nicht, wie ich das mache. Also, das liegt ja an
meist auf die Schnelle die Einstellung. Vergeht oder nicht vergeht.
Ah, jetzt Spezialist hier wieder.
Also nochmal ein Hinweis fürs Online-Voting eigentlich, dass die Livestreamer das dann auch wissen. Vergessen zu sagen.
Das habe ich aber alle von dir. A very nice evening and welcome to everybody. My name is Ruven, and for the program team, I'm super happy that I get to welcome you to the Do School on this lovely Hamburg spring evening, now that the rain is gone. It's about as nice as spring gets in Hamburg, so we're super happy that you decided to spend this evening with us, and most especially the 19 sitting there waiting eagerly to pitch, not nervous at all, they assured me. Before we get to them though, a couple of things that I want to tell you about how the evening is going to go, and what the context of all of this is. But before I get to do that, I would ask you to join me and very warmly welcome Florian, the president.
Good evening, everybody. How are you guys doing? Good. We start with an old Do School tradition, and no, it's not a massage tonight. Please find a person left or right or behind or in front of you that you haven't met and briefly say hi. Somebody that you haven't Wonderful. Wonderful. And coming back. And coming back. Oh, thanks, Romy. So I'm very proud. The last time that took me 10 minutes to get the room quiet again. So, but I hope there have been some first looks and glances that you can elaborate on during the drinks later on. Welcome to the pitch night of the 2015 Packaging Challenge with H&M. We had the huge pleasure this Monday next to the event today to open a new program at Oxford University, and they asked us, what's so special about the program here tonight? And we said, what's special about the program, we believe, is the community. And that it's a community of learners, that very different groups of people, young, purpose-driven entrepreneurs from around the world, H&M entrepreneurs, people from the Westerwelle Foundation, people from EY, mentors, experts as diverse as somebody who is spending her life on growing mushrooms that eat plastic, and a woman that actually is a high fashion trend forecaster in Paris, all come together because they have a joint passion and they have a joint interest in a topic. And together they create something that each group individually could not have accomplished. And I think if we look at the outcomes of the packaging challenge, we can all be very proud of how diversity can actually create an outcome that is tangible. Now, when we created the team effort last week at Challenge Day, today is the day where we celebrate the way we all individually grow through such an exchange. So we celebrate tonight the 19 fellows that hopefully learned a lot and developed a lot, and will take that with them now to make a big oomph in the world somewhere. And hopefully the same applies to all of us who've been involved in the program. Thank you all so much for being with us tonight, and I hope we'll have lots of fun and hear some great stories. And hello to Berlin and out there in the world. Great that you're with us as well. Yeah. Have fun.
Now, before I say anything else about what's going on tonight, we heard that they've been here for 10 weeks, and apparently they've been working on something other than the individual ventures as well for the past 10 weeks. So before we really spend the rest of the evening listening to what you guys worked on over the last 10 weeks and what you want to set out to achieve as part of the Do School program for the next 10 months, but obviously far beyond that, but also not only what you guys have set now out as your plans that you want to achieve, but what some of the fellows from our previous programs have actually achieved over the last year, which Romy will tell us about. So before we go into all of those individual ventures, we'll take 3 more minutes, roughly, for a world premiere. and have a look at a little film that chronicles what happened here over the last 10 weeks in answering a challenge that H&M gave to those 19 fellows, which was how do we make our packaging, when we transport our goods from all the places in the world where we produce to our consumers, how do we make our packaging more sustainable? That's what they spent roughly 50% of the last 10 weeks thinking about, and what they came up with, we're going to show you now in a short film. And after that film, I'll tell you all about the little flyers that hopefully each of you have picked up with the voting sheets and what that's all about. So let's see what they came up with.
Hello, my name is Rihanna. I'm working for the HR department at H&M Germany, and I'm the project manager for our second collaboration together with the Do School, our packaging challenge. This year, we challenged the fellows to create an innovative packaging system for one of our product lines, and we would like to focus them on shoes.
For the packaging challenge, what we have done is we have come up with a lot of product ideas. And these product ideas were developed into clear products. They were prototyped and refined. And we made sure that these could be taken by H&M and implemented as soon as possible.
I think in the beginning, it was a very big task for us. I definitely didn't see how we were going to be able to combine sustainability with mass manufacturing, high fashion, and high volume along the production line.
The results of the packaging challenge are a perfect example of how the Do School creates innovation. It empowers people with skills, it creates innovative results that are good for the world, and it creates a culture in which leading employees and young talent from all around the world that are starting up their own social enterprises can come together around a real problem and implement a solution that they can all believe in.
How did we create all these great ideas? It's the Do School method. The Do School method is our secret sauce, and it's a simple, non-linear method that takes you from creating a whole lot of ideas to finally narrowing it down to the most really great ideas that matter a lot and that can be implemented. So there are 4 phases: dream, focus, plan, and do. Dream is all about ideation. You dream, you brainstorm, you think about all different possibilities, and then you focus, you narrow down, and finally you sit down and plan. So you do planning, you get your resources together, and the final phase, that's do. The do phase is all about making the idea really happen and making sure that we have a final, well-shaped, well-formed product at the end of the day that we can give back to the challenge giver.
I think this is the charming point when we are working together with the Do School, that we support these young people all over the world, but also that they bring in their input, their great ideas, and so that we also can grow with them. And so we are really happy that we have started this cooperation.
So that was the last 10 weeks. Now, for the next 10 months, the Do School Seeds Award. Tonight, you're going to hear in 3-minute pitches what our fellows have planned. But more than just listening to their pitches, this is actually part of a competition which, through which H&M supports 3 of the fellows in starting up their ventures through grants between 1,000 and 5,000 euros, to a total of 5,000 euros. Now, the way we get the winners is partially through your votes tonight. So with these cards that you all get or already have, and if you don't have them, and if you don't have a pen nearby, then feel free to ignore me a little bit over the next 5 minutes and make sure that you have a card and have a pen. so that you're ready when the first fellow starts pitching. On those cards, you'll see the criteria on the back that are important to us and that we ask you to listen carefully to when you now listen to the different pitches. So we're not just asking for who's doing the best job in pitching, which is obviously going to be fun to look out for as well, but we're asking you to think about which venture that you will hear over the next hour is the most relevant, which is the most innovative, which one do you think is the most sustainable and will have the biggest impact. And of course, we also ask you to think about who's giving us the nicest pitch. As you go through the pitches, we suggest every time after a fellow has pitched, immediately give them a little ranking. We suggest simply from 1 to 3 across the different categories here. Yeah? So that you immediately after a pitch fill in your numbers and put in the sum. Because after 19 pitches, it's going to be very hard otherwise to think back to the first one. Yeah? So take a quick minute to fill it in right afterwards. And at the end, at the very end, after the last pitch, we're going to ask you to put a big circle around your winner of the night. And I know that's going to be probably the hardest decision you're making today, who that winner is going to be. And it doesn't have to be the one whom you gave the highest score. There's a good chance there'll be a couple of people with similar scores on your sheet. So you make your choice at the end. Circle who you think did the best job today, has the most exciting, sustainable, innovative venture. And then we'll listen to Romy and we'll listen to Radwa, an alumni of the Do School who came here today from Cairo. And we'll hear about her venture. We'll hear about a few of the ventures that fellows have achieved in the past 2 projects and the impact that they've had. And we'll use that time to generate some more excitement and anticipation. And in the meantime, we'll count the votes and then afterwards report back on who's the winner of the evening. Yeah? After all of this, I think it's time for a very big round of applause. And I ask you to set the bar really high with the applause and keep it really high throughout the evening, throughout all the 19 pitches, when we're welcoming the different fellows. And please say hello to Alanda and her 3 minutes.
Indonesian youth have successfully led the country to be better and stronger. We declared our own independence. We led a revolution that brought a regime down after 32 years of ruling. Indonesia is now predicted to be one of the top 10 global economies in 10 years, with a quarter of the entire population made up of young people. That is 62 million young people like me, ready to build up on the momentum. So ideally, we should have a platform that empowers young people to catalyze positive change in their communities. When I looked for it 5 years ago, this platform did not exist. But then, today it does, because 5 years ago also, I established it. We call it Sinergi Muda, which is now one of Indonesia's most renowned youth organizations. We annually organize Indonesia's biggest youth conference and manage a digital hub where young individuals can exchange ideas and also find a youth organization who can support them in doing that. We have been run on a non-profit basis with team members working as volunteers. And even with this model, we have raised more than 100,000 euros in financial support and engaged with more than 250,000 young people through our programs. However, to scale up, we ought to have a sustainable source of income. So I am here at the Do School to turn Sinergi Muda into a social enterprise. We will help companies whose values in supporting young people are the same as ours to get engaged with them. We'll help our clients to understand them and deliver their message to their target audience by releasing youth studies, organizing events, and also consulting their marketing strategy. We will use the income from these activities to fund our nonprofit programs. When we win the Do School Seats Award, we're going to establish Sinergi Muda as a legal entity and also revamp our website to include our new structure and additional services. This way, we would be able to expedite the transformation process into a social enterprise, reaching break-even point in less than 1 year while doubling our impact. But to do that, we need to collaborate. All we ask from you tonight is your vote. Because changing the world should be done together, and that is what we in Sinergi Muda believe. I'm Alanda, 24 years old from Indonesia. Thank you for your support.
You're always going to have time to cast your vote while I change sides again. This is the measure of time that you have to choose who you want to vote for. And now, please welcome Alex from Uganda and his group.
So my name is Alex, I'm from Uganda. And my venture by innovation is working to create an alternative cooking solution that will tackle the challenge of deforestation in Uganda. So after graduating from the university, I spent 3 years working with the mountain gorillas, our little cousins here. They are extremely endangered, with only 800 individuals remaining in the world. Unfortunately, we continue to lose the gorillas to deforestation because 90% of the population in Uganda, they're just cutting down forests for cooking. We are really excited to come up with a solution, which is briquettes, because we are turning organic waste into briquettes. Briquettes are clean, they are cheap, and they burn longer than the traditional firewood and charcoal, which is causing a lot of deforestation. There is a lot of waste that we can use for making briquettes. All that is needed is to produce the briquettes and avail them to the users. The briquette business is not only good for the environment, but it's also good. It's also a profitable venture. And because there is a clear market and demand for the briquettes. Although the existing briquette machines are very expensive and way out of reach for countries like Uganda, we were able to make our own machine. And with this machine, we can produce enough briquettes for 4 schools. However, we are asking for your support because we believe with your support, we can improve the efficiency of our machine. And with your support, we'll be able to increase our production and reach out to more users for a greater impact. We believe we are on a mission, and with your support tonight and vote, we will be able to stop deforestation, give the gorillas a chance to live, and make this world a better place for the future generation. Thank you.
All right, then a welcome to our next fellow, Arlene.
Hello everyone, my name is Arlene and I'm a designer from Miami. And as a designer, my daily life is pretty hectic, but I do have moments of quietness and reflection. And this normally happens when I go out for my morning walks. And I mention this because it was on my morning walks that I started to see a really big issue. You see, week after week, I started seeing more and more waste being left on the curbsides. And I would see it as I would walk by. And I started thinking that this was really alarming, the rate that I was seeing this increase. So I decided to do some research. And when I decided to research, I was surprised to find out that although we as Americans take up only 5% of the world population, we're generating over 30% of the global waste. More specifically, when I started seeing what this waste was composed of, after food waste, it was metals and woods. To give you an idea, we as Americans dispose of enough wood that we could basically use that wood to heat 50 million homes for 20 consecutive years. If you look at metal, we dispose of enough metal a year to be able to build a city the size of Manhattan in New York from the ground up. And so with that, I present to you my venture. It's called Sieh. And what we do is that we use this disposed metal and wood and upcycle it into high quality, one-of-a-kind furniture. And we do this not only to keep these materials from ending up in the landfills, but also to show how much unnecessary waste is ending up there. We plan on selling our timeless products not only online, but also offline through pop-up shops or boutique concept stores. And our goal is not only to sell products, but also to offer this service, because we want to be a solution for next time you think of possibly throwing something away, be your alternative. On your seats, you'll probably find little pamphlets that show the very first product that we ever did. And you can see how we transformed something that was basically thrown away into something beautiful and that you would want to keep for the long run. All I'm asking from you is to go onto my website and subscribe and connect with me. If any of you know anyone that can connect me with someone to sort of spread these products or this vision that really marries form, function, and sustainability, please come talk to me after. Thank you for your time.
All right, then I think it's time to say a very big hello to Linda.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Belinda Jeffy, and I'm from Cameroon. But I've been living in Senegal for the past 6 years. Since 2004, I've been working with young people, helping them in their personal and career development. So in 2013, I decided to visit a street child center in our neighborhood just to spend some time with these kids. My expectation was to meet, lonely children with very sad faces because of course they had no home. But when I got there, to my surprise, I met all these children with big smiles on their faces and all doing these different activities. So I walked to this girl of 11 years old called Fatou, because she was making a painting of a flower in a very beautiful garden. By the end of my conversation with her, she looked at me, smiled, and said, "I feel like in heaven right now." That was a mind-changing phrase, because this showed how doing what you love doing in life can actually increase your positivity towards life. But we have one major problem with the Senegalese society today, especially with the educational system. It does not offer any opportunity for young children like Fatou to be able to discover and develop their passions, and it only focuses on fixing the weaknesses of children rather than capitalizing on the strengths they have to make them better people. That is why, through my venture, the Feel Africa Academy, I would like to enable children from the age of 10 to 15 to be able to discover and pursue their passions in life. A first step to achieving this is by organizing a summer camp, which will bring together children in an environment that is adapted with a set of fun, interactive, and experiential learning activities that will help them to better understand themselves, thereby facilitating their passion discovery process. I have a great team with whom I'll be working to achieve that, but I also know how important it is to have the necessary financial resources. And that is why I call on each and every one of you to support me, first, with your vote tonight, and secondly, through our upcoming online crowdfunding campaign so that I'll be able to raise the initial 5,000 euros, which I need to realize this camp. Thanking you in advance for your support.
All right, I think Christine is ready to go. Let's say hello.
Each and every day, Americans have the capability of disposing 51.7 trillion of these. Not the Ritter sport, but the thing that encloses it, the packaging. In America, I have to admit, it's difficult to avoid food packaging, as it conveniently contains and protects our foods. However, packaging containers happens to be the biggest culprit in terms of solid waste generation in the United States. And although some of it is recycled, more than half of it heads towards our landfills. And unfortunately, has the potential to sit there, just waiting for something to happen, and it seeps into our waters, our soils, and our ecosystems, thus affecting our environment and our own health. Thus, I'd like to introduce you all to my venture, Packageless. As an industrial and packaging technology student from California, I've been trained to design and create packaging, but the more I think about it, the more I don't want to do it, because what I design ends up in someone's trash cans and probably the landfill. So the mission of my venture is to open the Silicon Valley's first packaging-free grocery store. And this business model already exists all throughout the world, yet none exists in California. And it's a very sustainable and practical alternative to let consumers purchase their groceries. But of course, opening a store isn't going to happen overnight, as much as I would love it to. So for the next 10 months, I'll be working with the market, interacting with customers, and really understanding their lifestyles, preferences, and needs to make this venture become a reality. But what am I asking from all of you today? Not just for your support for my venture, but also for your commitment to be a more conscious consumer. Although the problem of waste generation is way beyond my own reach, I really believe in the power of each one of you to create sustainable and positive change. Whether it's through a packaging-free grocery store or through our own consumer habits. So I really encourage that we would all work together and make a change in the food packaging industry. Because food is good and food should be good, not just for ourselves, but also for our planet. So the next time you go to a grocery store, I'd really ask to take a step back and think, what's gonna happen to your packaging? Thank you.
Let's go all the way around the world then and say hello to Haley.
I met Junior in Ghana in early 2014. He was 17, living right on top of a dusty hill in a 2x2 meter tin shack, sleeping in a double bed where he was squished in between two friends. Now Junior came to me because he wanted to be an entrepreneur, So after a few weeks of discussion, we went down to the local market, we bought 4 TVs, 2 Xboxes and 2 PlayStations, and we transformed his shack into the neighborhood game house. Now over the next few weeks, Junior proved to be quite the entrepreneur. He bought a pool table, he started serving food and drinks, and he even hired 2 staff to help him in the shop. He went from barely scraping by to earning over $10 a day, which is a huge income for someone of his skills and his age in his community. Now, Junior's entrepreneurial spirit inspired me, but most importantly, it made me look around and realize just how many other young people there were just like him. In Ghana, they refer to this as the youth unemployment crisis. Every year, 250,000 young people come to the job market for the first time. The formal sector employs 2% of these, leaving the other 98% to search for opportunities elsewhere. People like Junior who come from disadvantaged backgrounds are at the very bottom of this pile. But working with him made me realize that I could do something about this. But I knew the last thing Ghana needed was another NGO. I wanted to find a way to use the skills of the community to support its weakest members. The solution was right on my shoulder. I began traveling around Ghana, collecting beautiful artisanal goods from small-scale artisans. I connected with some cool local tailors and together manufactured a range of homewares, accessories and jewelry to sell to the international market. We made bags fashioned from beautiful, colourful mud, jewelry made from nomadic tribes, and homewares made from beautiful silks. I took it home to Australia to test my idea at a local designer market. We sold out 100% of everything in 3 days. Today, I live in Junior's community, not too far from where the game house was established. I'm here at the Do School formalising my work, and I'm going to use profits from goods to support young people like him to create a better life for themselves. Tonight, of course, I'll ask you to vote for me, but more importantly, I want you to be my future buyers. I don't want donations. I want you to purchase something that is beautiful and unique that you will love, but most importantly, that in turn will spread love. Thank you.
So, next, let's give a warm welcome to Jay.
Good evening, everyone, and I'm Rowan. 2 years ago, a village, Ratupaswala, in Sri Lanka, rioted against a rubber glove manufacturing company demanding safe water. This company has deposited its chemicals in the river water, contaminating the water. This riot resulted in 3 lives, 33 injured, and of course losing its business. Today, Sri Lankan landfills are not separated, not central landfills. 56% of these landfills contain fabric. But we don't want companies like this to close down. They account for 70% of the Sri Lankan economy. But why are they so poor in performing in this area? They don't have sustainability agenda in their companies. Lack of knowledge, expertise, resources in waste management, in processing, recycling, and disposing the waste. I'm Jayashri from Sri Lanka, and my background is supply chain and process improvement. I'm extremely privileged to have worked in different countries, in different companies, working on this area. Last year, with L'Oreal Singapore, we reduced 50% of the transport cost by optimizing their deliveries. Since 2008, in Unilever, we've reduced 140,000 tons of landfill by implementing the 0% landfill policy. And now this concept I want to bring to Sri Lanka for the sustainability of the Sri Lankan SMEs. How am I going to do this? We have the big companies having this expertise. We have the recycling companies, and we have the universities with the waste management consultancy. I will connect all of this to the SMEs to build the society I'm talking about. As a first step, I'm going to organize a conference on waste management and sustainability for the first time in Sri Lanka. Once I go back, together with my team, we're going to do a survey, work for sponsorships, get the right speakers, and funding for this conference. This is just the first step only. I see this community growing bigger to more conferences, to think tanks, to consultancy, and even showcasing the progress of these SMEs. If any of you are in the industry of textile, rubber, manufacturing, or you know anyone, please do talk to me after the event. And of course, do vote for me this night in cultivating sustainability in developing Sri Lanka. Thank you.
And after Jay comes Joy. So welcome to Joy.
When I was a little girl, all I wanted to do was change the world. I would often sit in front of the television watching the news, tears streaming down my face as I witnessed injustices unfold around me. One day, my father walked in and asked me what was wrong. There are all these problems, I said, and there's nothing I can do about them. I'm just one little girl. He pulled me into his lap and gave me the most valuable piece of advice I've ever received. You can't change the world, Joy. It's simply not in your power to do. But what you can do is change one person, fix one problem, solve one challenge. And those little changes add up. The world is like a giant puzzle. You can only put it together piece by piece. Imagine a global network of change makers all around the world who are connected. Imagine an army of people working in communities all over the world towards one common goal. Imagine a platform that could turn doing good into a game. A social network that could connect people who want to do good with opportunities to do good and then reward them for it. This is the vision behind my venture. Free People Club is a global hub for social innovation. We are building a dynamic community around creating real social impact. It's an online space fueled by offline action. It's a place to connect, engage, and exchange. So we offer members the opportunity to connect with inspiring people, inspirational and innovative brands, cool spaces, and great events. People can earn points by doing good deeds and then exchange their points for sustainable goods like eco-fashion. It's kind of like the Facebook for change makers. So you can create your own profile, add friends, send messages, post status updates. If you're an entrepreneur, you can promote your own project, look for potential collaborators, or host your own crowdfunding campaign. If you like to travel, we have a global network of people around the world with cool spaces where you can stay. These are just some of the perks of becoming a member. So the truth is, none of us can change the world on our own. But if we work together, we can really rock this planet. So if you'd like to learn more about the project, become a member, or make a contribution, please come talk to me later this evening. And I'm Joy from New York. Thank you for listening.
So let's say hello to Katja.
In Uruguay, there is a grass that grows very fast. In 3 months, it's grown to the full size, and in 3 years, it's strong enough to build a house. This material is bamboo. In the countryside, there are many low-income communities with bamboo in their immediate environment. As an industrial designer, I have been working with bamboo in the last 5 years. After winning some fundings from the Ministry of Culture in Uruguay, I made a cultural project to share all the different possibilities interest of the people made me think, how can I help them, teaching them the skills to work with bamboo, because they have in their immediate environment. My venture is a pop-up bamboo design studio, which I will bring to these different low-income communities to improve the quality of life, making trainings to develop projects with local identity. So these products will be furniture, kitchen utensils, and toys for kids. I think that the bamboo can improve the quality of life of the people. To make my venture as sustainable as bamboo, I also want to make products with high quality to sell in the local and international market, but also make consultants about bamboo to make a network of bamboo in Uruguay. I am Katia, and I want to make as many workshops as possible, so I need your support, I need fundings and partnerships. But I want to improve I want to work with bamboo in Uruguay.
So let's say hi to Lanicia.
Did you know what you wanted to become while you were in high school, or even while you were in university? Did you get the chance to sit with your career advisor to discuss what you wanted to do? Take a moment and think back about your high school years. What if you had the chance to sit with your career advisor and discuss what you want to do with your life? Would it be what you're doing now? Or could you have been doing it 5 years earlier? Several years ago, I was teaching a group of young adults who were 18 years and older in a vocational training center in Jamaica. I learned a lot about them and what they wanted to become. But the truth is, For many of them, it was the first time that they were sitting down to discuss what they wanted to do with someone. This took me back to my high school years. Although I had a career advisor, I've never sat face to face with this person to discuss what I wanted to do with my life. And I surely knew nothing about online career testing. That inspired me to start the NGO Young Women and Men of Purpose, to help young people within my community in Jamaica to identify what they wanted to do with their lives. Today, I want to help more young people in Jamaica, not just face to face in my community, but across the entire island. And that is why I created my venture, Link Your Purpose. Link Your Purpose is an online platform that helps young people to identify what they want to become by taking fun and interactive career tests. The platform will recommend the subjects they need to take in high school and then inform them of the universities that they can attend and scholarships that they can apply for. Additionally, the platform will give them access to youth opportunities globally, such as conferences, workshops, fellowships, internships, and jobs. Link Your Purpose is an innovative solution for Jamaica. We will generate income through basic and premium subscriptions and advertisements from universities and colleges. More importantly, we will license the application to the government to place on the tablets of all high school students in their Tablets in Schools program. I believe that Link Your Purpose can change the lives of many Jamaicans, because if they know what they want to become and they know how to do it, then it is easier for them to get jobs. This will reduce the high unemployment rate and thus alleviate poverty. I'm working with a group of developers and psychometricians to develop the application. But tonight, I need additional financial support to make the platform go live. I believe that with your help, I can create an even greater impact. I am Lanicia, and I am from Jamaica.
I want to take this point to share 3 very quick observations with you. The first one, there's now 10 faces on my left that look a lot more relaxed than half an hour. 9 still look a little bit tense. So that's a brief update on where we are. The second one is, we're both really amazed as to the fellows' timing so far, because our alarm didn't go off once. So you were bang on 3 minutes. And the last observation is that I think you guys have been doing a tremendously wonderful job of giving them applause. And I want to give you a quick relaxation for your hands in between now, so that we can continue to do that as well in the second half. So everybody who's been to the Do School before already knows our favorite kind of yoga. So make sure you show everybody left and right. But the way it goes is you put up your hands, everybody. You take a turn to the left. You put down the hands and you give the person next to you a quick massage. Very good, very good. Very good. Out. Wonderful. Let's say hello to Nihal.
What is it that I'm passionate about? What are the skills I need? And how do I get there? These are the questions that I, just like every other student asks himself. But the system I grew up in India, did not have any room for self-discovery or creativity to permeate. And over 6 years of working in this space, I realized that this crisis is indeed global, and graduates are not receiving the right skills to navigate in this fast-changing global economy, either as entrepreneurs or in the industrial age. Methods, approaches, and priorities have changed. And old social and environmental problems have taken on new forms, but universities are not equipping students to tackle these problems. So the question is this: how could universities develop the skill sets needed to shape and thrive in the future? My name is Nihal, and I think I have an answer. I call it Limitless. It's a higher education program built on the values of entrepreneurship, social innovation, design thinking, creativity, and leadership. For students, it helps them look for opportunities and challenges, and it helps them find that sweet spot, the sweet spot between thrills, skills, and bills, the passions and the purpose, the skills needed to create systemic change, and how all of those could help them pay their bills. For universities, it builds on top of their existing framework and helps them showcase, helps them show new approaches to graduate with their students. And it doesn't end here. It's built on a scalable platform. I'm going to start this off in Canada to leverage the interest in the funding available from the government and move to a more hostile environment in India, because that's where it needs it the most. But the dream is this. The dream is to build a reality show from the same program, showing the journeys of students driven by their passion and their purpose, and set the stage for the world's largest classroom, make it available to the masses. So I ask you this: join me in this journey and let us together believe and become limitless. And together, the world will not change until we do. Thank you.
And now, salute to Olga.
Can you imagine that every week a French entrepreneur will spend 7 hours working on administrative and legal issues instead of focusing on more productive activities? Of course, he can delegate this task to a chartered accountant or a lawyer, but this could cost him a lot of money. In fact, he can do a lot more with that, if only he knows what the administration wants from him. So hello, my name is Olga, and I want to help French entrepreneurs to start and run their business with serenity. In order to do that, I want to create a user-friendly guidance to help them to start a maze of regulation. How can I have the most accurate content for my guidance? In the next 10 months, I want to work with more than 60 entrepreneurs. And thanks to my legal knowledge, I will provide them my experience and my legal background. And together, we will create the most amazing database in order to help them to start and run their business. If they wanted to use my application, they will have a bigger impact because they will save time, they will save money, they will ensure the security of their company, and even more, they will fulfill their dreams. So, if you know some French entrepreneurs who are struggling with the French administration, or if you are personally interested in this topic, please come to talk to me at this end of this presentation. Thank you very much, and thank you, the Do School, for helping me to fulfill my dream.
So the next team is a double act. So it's not only Yara, but also Rania, all the way around. And why they're coming up together, they'll explain to you themselves.
So, ask you guys to close your eyes. Great. Imagine yourself after this hectic day, jacuzzi that is filled with warm water that smells. Move your hands into the water and breathe in and breathe out to de-stress. Now I want you to imagine that this water is turned into plastic bags. It makes this squishy sound once it touches your body. Move your hands into the plastic bags and feel the fungus and the leftovers of the food. Smells like bacteria, yeah?
Now open your eyes. It's disgusting, isn't it? But this is what Egyptians in the slums get to face every day, walking in the streets, even in their house yards, filled with plastic waste. Filled with plastic waste. We're not just here to talk about people's health conditions. We're here to untangle our earth from the plastic bags waste that we face. And we're Rania and Yara from Egypt, and we're presenting to you Refuse. Refuse, our company, is an Egyptian-based company that promotes eco-conscious lifestyles to our customers and community. We're designing these bags, which we call our tools, to positively change the people's awareness and understanding about eco-conscious lifestyles. By simply changing an unwanted plastic bag, like the one I have now, into a uniquely fashionable product that we can find on the shelves of the international market. And after leaving Hamburg, we'll be able to produce 1,200 items for the upcoming year to continue our 2-year journey. And we'll be able to employ 7 underprivileged women and provide them stable income. And not just that, but we'll be able to save 996,000 plastic bags from being thrown into landfills, an amount as big as 55 Olympic swimming pools.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I think you know. Fortunately, this year we've been counted as the second best eco-conscious design studio in Egypt. And we've also conducted workshops with our communities in different places in Egypt, from north until south. We're only talking there about eco-conscious lifestyles. And we also won 5,000 euros as a grant to kickstart our project and to keep going. But of course, as a startup, we still need more. We still need 17,000 euros to keep going and spreading our message and designing these school bags. So we're asking you to invest in us, to believe in us, and to support us, not only by the vote, but also by maybe buying our bags like Heidi's bag. You should buy our bags.
So I ask you to close your eyes again and imagine the life of the Egyptians, and not just Egyptians, but a lot of people are all around the world, living a healthier, cleaner environment. Because a bag that loves Earth and respects people can really make a difference. Thank you.
Let's welcome Shreyans from India.
Good evening, everyone. How many of you have checked your emails today? Can you please raise your hands? Your Facebook? Good. Now, what about your energy usage? Question. This is a room full of people passionate about the future of our planet, and we are not doing anything for energy usage, which is driving climate change. In India, where I come from, we waste 20% of the electricity we use. It means we're keeping our lights, air conditioners, and appliances on, even without utilizing it. It accounts for 40 billion euros annually. And this is the amount of money which is not contributing to our well-being. For the sustainable energy future is not a technology which is yet to be developed. It's us. It's all of us. We can harness this resource simply by applying behavioral science. We can start doing it today. We know it works, and it'll start saving us money right away. My venture, What Guru, is an online and on-ground engagement platform, which is conducting seminars, creating workshops, and creating fun activities to motivate urban Indians to save energy in a responsible way. We consult industries and educational institutes to save energy through enthusiasm. Our aim is to build a network, raise awareness, and educate students, school children, and companies. Now you would ask me, what if I'm not concerned about energy conservation? What am I losing? The potential of energy conservation in India is 2 terawatt hours per year. So to bring it in tangible terms, it is more than enough energy to power every home in New Delhi and Mumbai combined for more than a year. The combined population of these two cities is 40 million, which is half the size of German population. And to achieve this, we are not burning anything. We are just motivating people to change their behavior and be more responsible towards their energy usage. There are many experts who can answer questions related to energy conservation. Our aim at What Guru is to make sure we are all asking that question. What Guru is seed funded by Microsoft, and Microsoft is presently technologically partnering us. But to take my venture forward, I will require support in form of investments and potential partnerships. I am Shreyans from whatguru.com. Please do vote for me. Thank you.
And we're staying in India and saying hello to Sri Krishna.
I think you all are involved in agriculture because all of us eat. In India, every half an hour, a farmer commits suicide. From 1995, more than 300,000 farmers committed suicide just due to financial reasons. Just think a moment about their family and dependents. What will happen to them? Day by day, agriculture in India becoming a non-profitable occupation. Farmers are not able to fulfill their own basic life needs out of the farming. They are even losing their social status just because of their poverty. They are treated as the one among the most lower cadre people in the society. And the present day youth, that is the kids of the farmers, are not ready to take up the farming as their profession because they are disrespected and they can't earn a good income. And it may be fun, but it's truth that they are even not able to getting married because no girl wants to marry a poor farmer. And no girl wants to. So just imagine, can you grow food from machine or computer? It's not possible. Agriculture needs to be continued and someone needs to do farming. So we should behave responsibly towards farmers who gives us food. So I'm Sri Krishna Hegde. I myself from a farming family in India. I have personally seen the problem which I have explained before. My own classmates are migrated to cities just for the better income purpose and they discontinued farming. I always wanted to put full stop to this bad name of the farming in India, the suicide cases. I was asking myself, how do I do this? A year before, I started an online platform called connectfarmer.com, which means connecting farmers with the customer. It's an online and on-ground effort to support the farmers to develop value-added products and reach the market, a wider market, so that they can earn good real income. So from last year, I worked with around 300 farmers to test this concept on ground. So I'm very happy to announce that it worked, and we have connected farmers with consumers, and now we are seeing happy face of that 300 farmers. And like, you may be interested to know what exactly we are doing in Connect Farmer. We help them to develop value-added products and market it and to earn a good income. We also train them with the marketing skills and opportunities, and we help them to establish cottage industries. So by that they can increase their share in the agriculture value chain. As a future development, we also want to introduce the concept of farm tourism, which helps the farmers to earn an extra income and city people to experience the farming and village life. I request all of you to have a look at connectfarmer.com, and before you do that, please vote for me and please help me to save the life of Indian farmers. Thank you.
All right, to kick off the final 3 pitches, let's say hello to our fellow from Germany, Tina.
I'm sitting next to Claribel.
a young teenager living in a neighborhood in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Claribel is trying to finish her homework, is closely to giving up when I offer her my help. While we're finishing the first task together, she remembers what she has learned in school. It is overwhelming for me to see her doing the rest of the task all on her own, highly motivated and with a proud smile on her face. Claribel is one of many young people living in neighborhoods that we call slums. Neighborhoods where houses are made out of scrap metal, streets are unpaved, and where the majority of parents are illiterate. Our world is increasingly urbanizing, and in less than 15 years, there will be more than 2 billion people living in slums. It was a moment with Claribel that made me realize that learning is not only the result of teaching in school. Learning starts in your home and in the community that you are growing up. Even though Claribel attends school, it is her surrounding that has increasingly limited her to reach the level of education that corresponds to her age. We all know how crucial learning is, but so how can we provide kids like Claribel with the right learning opportunities? With my venture, Educarnos, I want to build up a youth community network in the neighborhood of Claribel, a space where she can use her potential to become an active change maker. How am I going to do this? First, I will run workshops with the youth in order to enable them to become active problem solvers. They will put the learned into action and will create innovative solutions with the problems their communities are facing. Within the first months, I will create a direct impact on 15 young people. They will acquire skills and values that they need in order to become self-confident change makers. It will increase the learning effects of school, their employability, and by creating community activities with them, we'll reach out to 200 more community members. These workshops, they are only the beginning and the first step. They will build the foundations of this community youth network, a network that is built and most importantly owned by the young people like Claribel. I'm Tina, I'm from Germany, but I've been working more than 8 years with poor urban communities in Latin America, and I want to invite really all of you tonight to help me to go this first step, a very important step for these kids. So vote for me and enjoy the evening.
So the sad news is there's only 2 pitches left, and the first of those last 2 pitches is going to be given by Josh.
I've been lucky to travel this beautiful world. What I've come to learn is that intelligence and creativity are equally distributed. Unfortunately, opportunity is not. My name is Tosh Juma, and I'm a digital designer from Nairobi. In the last 8 years, I've worked with some of the most amazing people. I've worked on some of the most amazing projects in Kenya and around the world. I've become a professional in what I do, and I've been considered an expert in the field of digital design. So why am I here? I'm building a design school in Kenya, a school that will work with young people from the slums of Nairobi. We'll teach them how to design products in a way that's considered world-class. We'll build a space for them in a manner that's referred to as world-class. and will work with industry experts to teach in a way that's considered world-class. You see, I believe that it is important to cultivate a culture of creativity, innovation, and design that will enable these young people to work competently in any world-class environment. It is my hope that they can grow to become world-class designers. What will they learn? They'll learn how to build beautiful digital products. They'll learn how to design amazing web experiences. And what they'll do also is learn how to design cool mobile apps. But what they'll also learn is an approach called the human-centered design. It is my hope that they can come back to create social change in the communities they live in. The human-centered design approach allows a designer to go back to the root of a problem, work face-to-face with a problem stakeholder to develop beautiful, impactful solutions for the communities they live in. This is my story. This is where I came from. And I've experienced firsthand how such an approach can change a young man's life. So this is my thank you to a community that saw me grow, a community that challenged me with responsibility, and a community that allowed me to fly. So come join me in this beautiful quest to change the world. My venture is called Watungaji, and it's a digital design school in Nairobi. Thank you.
Europe is facing a crisis of immigration. As jobs, benefits, and public services are being cut, a feeling of anti-immigration is taking hold of our societies. But perhaps this wasn't your first thought when I speak of Europe's immigration crisis. Perhaps you think of hundreds of young African men, women, and children drowning in the Mediterranean Sea. Well, the story does not end there. And it is not only from Africa that people seek asylum, but from all over the world. Our global immigrants and refugees run from violence, they run from poverty, they run from global inequality. They embark on the most treacherous and traumatic journeys just for a fighting chance at life, or simply to see the world through the eyes of a traveler and not the skin of an immigrant. However, in an already struggling Spain, non-European immigrants are met with police brutality, hostility, and once again poverty. They go on to face widespread discrimination, exploitation, and a violation of their human rights. It just seems that our immigrants fade into a background of negative stereotyping and political scapegoating to become an invisible people existing in Spanish society. And this is a problem. My venture, Clandestino, is an intercultural community art space in Valencia, which creates meaningful employment as a tool of anti-discrimination for marginalized migrants. At Clandestino, we build up a platform for global arts, culture, and community using the skills and the creativity that migrants already bring with them to show that they don't lack talent, but opportunity. And their diversity is an opportunity too often by the stereotype that immigrants steal jobs. Clandestino are going to create jobs. What am I going to do next? First, I'm going to form our migrant collective, where we offer a diverse range of cultural events, activities, and products. from film and food, to art and dance, music and fashion. Then we're going to find a space that serves as an art centre, a meeting place and a venue, and social fun. And finally, we're going to launch our enterprise as a cooperative, where we promote economic collaboration over competition. Clandestino believes in equal exchange and equal opportunities. Clandestino believes in co-creation through coexistence. And Clandestino takes down borders to build up a more open and inclusive Spanish society. My name is Vanessa, and my venture, Clandestino, really needs your vote tonight to help shine a light on those who were once invisible. Thank you.
Yeah. So that was 19 pitches. And now the ball is back in your court. And the task is really easy. 10 minutes to do two things. Pick your favorite pitch. That's the easy one. And then the hard one with all the guests that we have here is within the 10 minutes, drop your card in that glass bowl over there so that we can go and count all the votes that you have been cast while in 10 minutes, Romy from the Do School and Radwa, our alumna from Egypt, will come back here to tell you the story of what happens with our fellows after they delivered their pitches here, when they go home to actually implement it and start doing. Yeah? But before you start picking your favorite and casting your vote and taking a quick 10-minute break, one more big round of thank you and applause to all 19.
So that I wanted to check in. So what's good? Okay. it's gonna have a big impact on the population size. You have already, so you have a platform which is fully operational.
Even though they will be but to be honest,
For you, the key question is to see what is the segment where you can have the biggest impact. What is your audience that is companies developing in India right now. We are not in the technically, we are in the packaging. But so it's a market where we know things take you up in the right way, otherwise we end up like the US did. So it's part of the production. We produce narrative, so that consumes a lot of energy as well. I think we are very aware certainly because we look at this kind of thing, but it's interesting. Long so much in urban. That's why very good. Big problem. But we start putting up the light. We start overall aim is to create an application everyone this application every consumer has a consumer ID. So if you put in the consumer ID, we will get to know what is the data utility company. Thank you according to your so we know companies or people like that. So we topic the micro day like we are talking with a lot of foreign people. So it's not on this top three. It's like we have to start thinking like right now we are only done with today. Now we have to start looking for projects because our application is already started. When you roll it out, you really want to go and what's your business model for the Ruben needs? So right now we are not so much. They like pay us according to the market, but less than market because they are small. But we also have consulting contracts with these technology companies. Office contract, Heimatland is pretty good. That's how it's but in the long run, we want to contribute to corporate. With this money, we want to like do a lot of activity with the schools because schools do not have that much of funding, and that is why we are using you guys program. So whenever you are in India, do let me know because I travel to India a lot, so I can but you should really do
Last chance to cast the vote.
Und das Bild habe ich auf dem Start gemacht. Aber nicht weiter. So super. So super.
I know it's hard. I know it's very hard to get your attention. Thank you. I know it's very hard to get your attention after 19 amazing pitches by 19 amazing people. You did a lovely job. Super proud of you. And I can't wait to stand here in a year from now and present what you've achieved. So live up to it. But for now, I want to talk a little bit about the achievements of the two fellow groups from the two one-year programs that we were doing last year until this spring. And you see these lovely people on the slides. On the slide here, the Sustainable Cup Challenge Fellows on top in New York, and the Green Store Challenge Fellows of the first H&M project last year here in Hamburg. And I want to talk a little bit about what the 32 people that graduated successfully from the one-year program achieved. They set up 19 social businesses, 9 nonprofits, ran 3 campaigns, and one of them actually worked as an intrapreneur within an established organization, bringing change into this organization. They had a direct impact on over 7,000 people that were beneficiaries in their projects, consuming their services, receiving workshops, education, you name it. And they reached out to over 40,000 people indirectly through campaigning and awareness-raising activities. Just think about it, 40,000 people just in a year, 32 people. They created 164 jobs in countries with usually like really high unemployment rates. And they also worked with over 300 volunteers that they influenced, taught new skills, and also inspired to take actions themselves. But I don't really want to bore you with numbers after you heard so many amazing stories. So I want to ask you a question instead. What character traits do you think an entrepreneur needs to show? Any ideas?
Courage.
Courage. They just showed it. They got that. Something else?
Persistence.
Persistence. Very good point. Passion. I think we've also seen that tonight.
Long breath.
Long breath. Oh, yes. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the 3 Ps tonight. And I don't mean people, planet, and profit. I also don't mean public-private partnerships. I mean persistence. One of our fellows from the sports project said, surf your heart out. And she was like, you have to get on that board 1,000 times until you actually ride a wave. Perseverance. I don't think you got that origami right the first time you did it. And perspiration. I think a couple of you guys come from countries where it gets pretty hot, so I think you're going to perspire. But also the other ones, when something goes wrong, or you just have to work really hard to make something happen. And I want to tell you 3 stories where I think this really comes to life. And then I want to hand over to Razwa from the Green Store Challenge last year, who I think also has a couple of stories to tell that fit right into this. Before that, I think it's really about you got to do it. And that's the one thing that I want to give to you people. And I told you that already yesterday, and I'm going to do it before an audience so that you really do it. You have to do it, and you have to stick to it. And then you're going to stand there with your own product at your final event, like Lisa from Moldova, who I told you about. So go and do it, and have fun doing it. Like Coney from Cambodia. Coney wanted to set up my dream home. He actually had already set it up when he came to the Duke School. My dream home has the goal to give a house to people in a slum that they can build themselves at a very low cost. And you do it with these little buggers. Not very beautiful, but they're sustainable, they're cheap, they're eco bricks, as you call them. And they work like Lego stones, so you can just assemble them without being experienced in construction. So great thing to give to people living in slums that want to build their own home. So Coney already could produce these bricks when he came here, but as you see, there are not very many. His machine was super slow. I know someone with the same problem in Uganda. So he wanted a real machine, and he was trying so hard when he went back home after the incubation phase to build that machine and to improve the existing one. Got like construction guys help him work on this. Didn't really work out. At some point he just gave up because he couldn't get the parts he needed in Cambodia. So he was like, in a Skype call we had, he was like, I have to buy a machine somewhere. And I'm like, how much is that going to cost you? And he's like, well, maybe 5,000 euros. And I'm like, well, you can do this. You know, you can raise 5,000 euros to build a machine. You have proof of concept. You can build these bricks. You know, you can build houses from this. Go and raise that money. And he did. Took him 2 months. That wasn't the only challenge. Not the end of the persistence. So he had to wait for 5 more months until he actually got his machine from Thailand. And in the end, he actually had to go himself and get it because they wouldn't ship it for some reason. So he really was super persistent, just at like getting this machine. There it arrives. Doesn't look very fancy. I don't have a picture of the actual machine, unfortunately, but I have a picture of this. That's the output of one day. That was what he could produce in a week before, and he's working on making the machine more efficiently even. So he has built a first house, not really ready yet, but it's going to be in a couple of days. And he wants to show this prototype of a house to potential investors, to nonprofits that work with people in slums and want to give housing to people. So he's just at the beginning of a long journey, and I think he's going to need much more persistence, but I think he showed that if you stick to it, you can even get this machine from Thailand. Now we'll move to India. Yash, fellow of the Sustainable Cup Challenge, he came and he was like, I want to be an environmental consultant. I was like, okay, go do it. What do you want to consult? And he's like, well, I want to work with the hospitality industry. That's what I know best. And I have contacts there and I've worked with them. I'm like, okay. But then he Googled a little bit and he found there's so many environmental consultancies already, and he was like not really passionate about actually doing it. So we iterated during the incubation phase in New York a couple of times, and he went from consultancy to maybe I want to produce my own sustainable kitchenware. So plates and bowls and cutlery that people can use in the hospitality industry instead of throwaway plates. And I'm like, okay, can you actually, like, are you a product developer? Can you like develop a product like a sustainable plate? And he's like, not really. And I'm like, well, maybe you think about this again. But in the end, he brought it together and he developed Shunya Alternatives. What Shunya Alternatives does is they buy biodegradable tableware and cutlery from companies that already produce this, but they don't sell in India yet. So they buy this internationally, bring it to India, and they consult the hospitality industry on the benefits and advantages and the use of these plates. So that's the concept he came up with. That's his website, where he tries to convince his customers. And he started small, put a couple of products on there, kind of in a nice way, cost him some time. Then he sold it to his friends initially. Friends that were traveling. Indians love to eat in trains. So he sold it to all his friends traveling in the train. And they bought it, and they sent him pictures of how they used it. Awesome. Then they had a birthday party, bought his plates. Not big business, you might think, huh? You know, selling a couple of plates to friends. All right, he went to fairs, he presented his products, and ended up, that's a big event of a startup incubator in Mumbai that was only using his disposable plates. And in the first year, he has replaced 50,000 pieces of disposable cutlery and cups and plates and whatever not. That would have otherwise most likely been plastic, because people are lazy. And he aims to multiply this number in the next year and go on and work with hotels and bigger companies to use these plates in their events and whatnot. Great job. Took him a while. Definitely some perspiration in Mumbai. And finally, Lucretia. Some of you might remember her pitch from last year. She was one of the winners, actually. And she's from Sierra Leone. And she wanted to set up Sinaba. Sinaba wanted to construct solar kiosks in Sierra Leone where people can go and they can charge their mobiles, they can charge other appliances, they can buy cold drinks, which is something you don't get everywhere in Sierra Leone, and where also doctors can store their vaccines, or fishermen can freeze their fish so that they can actually bring it to the city and sell it for more money. So, of course, she pitched here in the middle of the Ebola crisis, and that's what she basically went back to. So this is the pictures that we know from Sierra Leone, that we've seen on TV and in the internet. And while you're seeing this, I got other pictures. I didn't get a lot because she had a really tough time accessing the internet and traveling somewhere because of all the travel curfews and whatnot. However, whenever she sent a picture, it was like, these are the volunteers I've been training so that they go into the communities and they do Ebola awareness raising. Of course, she didn't think about her solar kiosk first. But she built the first one. She bought a plot of land. She was super happy for the Ebola crisis because construction material prices fell. I think she paid 10% of what she would usually have paid to construct that thing. So there was a positive aspect to this, and she could actually see it, which was amazing. So this is her first kiosk, which she will open next week, she wrote. So first week of June. And this is the signing of the MOU with the guy who's going to run the kiosk and who's going to have a fridge that she got for free from a UN organization. The kiosk is going to be equipped with solar panels on the roof. And this guy is going to help fishermen freeze their fish and sell it for more money. And people can charge their phones. So she actually managed to set this up, I think, with a lot of perspiration. So that's just 3 stories out of 32. If you want to know more, come and talk to me. But I think you want to talk to the fellows much more. So talk to these guys. They're here right now. But in general, if you want to find out more, definitely drop us an email. And now, I would love for Radba to share her story of setting up her venture in the past year in Egypt.
Hello everyone, I'm so glad to be here, to be to the place where it all started last year. Well, I know you're all excited and you're just waiting to know the results, so I won't take so long. I'll just give you just a brief description and introduction about myself. My name is Rahul Rustam. I'm from Cairo, Egypt. I'm a civil engineer and I work as a CSR specialist in a solar energy company. I also work as a business developer intern at an organization called We First. And besides all this, I work also on my venture, which I'll tell you all about. Okay, so this starts just very quickly how I started all this thing. A couple of years ago, I started working in slum areas.
Well, we were basically providing the very basic needs of people there, food or clothes or healthcare or educational facilities there, but we never did anything about the infrastructure there or the houses they live in. I was studying construction, so it felt like a shame that I'm studying this and I'm not making any good use for the people there. And for some of you who have no idea how houses look there in some areas, they could be something like this. They're just samples from houses there. So by total coincidence, I just found about the fellowship online, and also the first thing that grabbed my attention was the challenge, because I saw the Green Store challenge and I was working on sustainable buildings, and I thought that this is a good opportunity. And then while filling in the application, I thought that they're also asking about a venture, and I already have one. And all I knew about it back then is that I just completed to live in a humane houses. That's it. And I never had any other idea how to do it. Maybe Rumi could remember from the interview that I didn't answer most of the questions, but luckily I got accepted. The incubation phase, it was mainly for me an exploration phase. I was exploring my skills, I was exploring the venture, I was exploring new fields. Like I haven't heard about the term social enterprise before coming in. So, and also planning and project management and many other fields. But still, I couldn't find the fixed frame for what I was going to do. I also knew that I want to build the houses. Until at some point I just found it. I found the name for it as well. So the project took the name Handover. Handover, it's a project that provides sustainable, durable, and affordable housing units for slum dwellers in Egypt. But how are we going to do this? My idea was not to bring some experts and to design fancy houses, and this is how people would be satisfied and happy. But the thing is that we wanted to include all the community segments during the project. So the idea was, and that's why it's called handover, because everyone in this circle or this loop is handing over something that he knows about. So the experts are handing over their experience and their learning and all the ways that they have done before. The students are handing over their time and effort and their passion to have those people. And at the same time, the residents also, they were the people who are knowledgeable about this problem, and they know their expectations and they know their needs in these houses. So the plan was to start for the first year with just one prototype to rebuild the house in the slum area in Egypt called Asbat Abukar. And it's also targeting to support only one family with 8 members. We're also planning to train 27 engineering students and to also train 6 local residents on building skills. One of the main goals also of the project is that we want to promote for sustainable techniques of construction. We don't want to promote for the conventional types like steel or concrete. No, we want to encourage people to use earth materials, which is very sustainable. And at the same time, also, it's not a charity project. We don't want to just give people the houses and that's it. No, we want them to build it with their own hands. And at the same time, also, they will own these houses because we're going to offer them like flexible payments and they will be able to pay for their houses on like long period of time. So I returned back home with a very detailed business plan and a very focused mindset and lots of passion to kick off the project. But I was not intending to start an NGO or enterprise at the first stage of the project. I thought of finding a partner because it's just a prototyping phase. So it's not just to build new NGOs, but to do really an impact. So this partner, which is called Asbat Project, they were already working in the same area. So we had an MOU where we signed all the terms of collaboration, and Handover was a subdivision responsible for developing housing units in this area. The second stage, of course, was to find a sponsor because we don't have a revenue stream for the first year because it's a prototyping phase. So the idea was to find a sponsor, and luckily also we found a construction company and they're very excited about the idea of the project. The third thing was to form the team because, as I told you before, the idea is to develop a comprehensive curriculum and then develop it or transfer it to the students. So the challenge was to find a team that experienced in several fields, and most of them are like through networking, or some of them are my friends and they are knowledgeable about sustainability, about construction, about human-centered design, about designing process. And also, I had a board of advisors of people giving me advice whenever I want. And even two of them are here, my friend Verena and my mentor Bridget, is somewhere here. Yeah, I have to thank them because they were very happy. Yeah. And after we developed the curriculum, it was about time to recruit the students who are going to take these workshops. And we did an online event on Facebook, and we received so many applications. There were more than 60, and I interviewed almost more than 40 applicants. And at the end, we selected 27 engineering students. They are architecture and civil engineers. And then we started the session. We delivered 9 sessions and workshops. We delivered so many topics like sustainability, team building, team bonding. They also experienced how to build those mud bricks by their own hands, and they tested it, and they know how to construct them. And now it was about time to find the house that we are going to rebuild. And then we went for a site visit, and we chose this house to be our prototype. This house is inhabited by 8 family members, and this is how it looks like from inside. And this is green pictures. So we did a site visit, and we took some measurements, and we started to think how we're going to develop this house. We also didn't do it by ourselves. We had several discussions with the family, with the children, with their mother, with all the family members, just to ensure that we're designing something that's useful for them. And then we started sketching, we started brainstorming, and then we did some proposals, and we're now finalizing our design. Also, we're just waiting for their approval, and then we will just kick off this proposal. The idea is, okay, the coming stage is that currently we're planning for the implementation. We're starting the building process in August, and now we're just doing the final touches just to kick off the project. There were so many good stuff that happened throughout this year. Starting with I was selected one of the young leaders for the Westerveld Foundation conference in December. And we did a very successful crowdfunding campaign on the 1% Club platform, and we reached our target in less than a month, so it was a good chance. Also, I was accepted in a competition organized by the World Bank. It's called We Resilient Cities, where they select female entrepreneurs from Egypt, Lebanon, and Djibouti who are trying to make their cities more resilient. So that was also a good chance. And for some reason, I was selected by somehow a famous magazine in the Middle East region. It's called Arabian Business, and they were doing this first-time list for 100 most powerful Arabs under 40. So I just got in. I don't know how. Okay. And also that was a good thing that we received a lot of media coverage for the project, and it really helped the project, and it helped people to know more about it and to be interested to help, even with whether money or advice or even their effort. Of course, there has been so many learning through this period. Like starting from the incubation phase, I've learned how to plan a project. I learned how to manage a project. I learned how to recruit people to work with my project and to select people correctly. I also learned how to manage conflicts, because there will be lots of conflicts, I have to tell you. And also, yeah, this was an important point for me, that it's really okay to ask for help, because at the beginning I thought that I would totally do it on my own. I don't need any other one to help, but that's not true, because you always seek help from others. And also, I learned about some of my faults while managing the project. I learned that maybe I was not taking feedback with a good spirit. So that was one thing. So you always have to focus, and also evaluate yourself and how you are working at it. And it's okay to say that I did this wrong and just try to make it better. And about challenges, of course, there were a lot. One of them for me was time management, because I was working as a full-time employee and still. And also I've been managing the project, so it's not easy, but it's doable. Like you just need to organize your time, you need to know your priorities, and this is very hard, especially for me. So just get a planner and just write everything down. This is very useful. And also stakeholder involvement. I was just thinking to some of you that sometimes you just get so involved in the details of the project and you just keep focusing and you're doing everything on your own and you forgot about your stakeholders. And honestly, this could cause so many problems. But you always have to get them in and to make them also feel the sense of ownership for the project, because you're all one. And depending on people, it's not that I'm contrasting what I just said, but it's like you have to also differentiate between volunteers that are just doing this without anything in return and your high expectations of the people you're working with. You have to manage between those two things, like to give them some space also to work in their other normal life and still give them also some responsibilities. So you just have to find this balance. Well, my advice for you, I think you're already doing very good job, so I'm not in a place to give you advice, but if I have to, I would just tell you that really networking is the key word for successful enterprise, really. You have to speak about your project any chance you get. You have to be bold enough to describe your project to anyone you see and just be very confident about it, because you're the most one who knows how to manage it. Also, fundraising. I know it's an issue and it appears to be a nightmare, but it's not that. It's not impossible. Like, it's doable. You just have to be very well prepared and you have to be very professional. And at the same time, you have to do your homework. You have to search for grants, you have to search for proposals, you have to search for investors and to know who are the people who you should target and who you should talk to. But seriously, it's not a nightmare. So just legal issues, yes. This is something that, yeah, you have to, because, yeah, I myself, I was about to go into something that's very deep and Romy knows about it, but really, it's good to, before starting anything, just check the legal issues, talk to someone, talk to a lawyer, but don't just start like this. And the last thing is, this was an advice from Virgin, my mentor, again. Yeah, because we used to have this monthly calls, and she always tells me, like, you have to mention the positive thing besides the negative thing. So you should always remember that you're working on your dream, you're working on your venture that you've always dreamed of doing it. So don't forget this while you're so busy doing work and managing everything, but always remember to celebrate your success. And I'm sorry I took so long, but thank you so much for this and congratulations to all of you. And I'm sure you do very well. Really. Thank
Thanks a lot. I think there was lots of good advice. And now my advice would be to grab another drink. And we're ready. We're ready. You're ready already. Perfect. Then let's do the announcement and then do the drinks.
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome.
No more breaks. Except one where we all have a drink together and celebrate the winner or winners of tonight. Before we get to that, again, 3 very quick observations. First of all, tonight was a competition. And if you feel like your favorite pitch hasn't won tonight, then you can go online and keep voting. Because the second stage of the Seeds Award is an online voting competition. So you can go online and vote for your favorite pitch again to make sure they make it to the final. And the second point is, though, really, for the most part, this isn't about competition between the fellows. This has actually been an amazing 10 weeks of co-creation between the fellows and H&M, and partnership and collaboration with other partners like the Westerwelle Foundation, with the Do School team, with everybody that we've worked together, and especially the way that you guys work together, and to recognize that you've not spent 10 weeks
pitching against each other, or I was really worried when I got in today. I thought something's wrong with them because they all stood in corners talking to themselves and not to each other because they were rehearsing their pitches. So from tomorrow you'll speak to each other again, and in recognition of the great work that you've done together and the way that you'll continue to support each other, for the whole group, one more big round of applause to all of you. And when we say they go home to start their ventures, we really mean it. So within the next 48 hours, they're all going to be gone from Hamburg. Exactly. Which means tonight is your night to chat with them. And in between hearing who the winners of the pitches are, grabbing a drink, and then grabbing a fellow for a conversation, think of the 3 things that you want to send them home with. And tell them your advice, your 3 things that you want them to think about and to keep in mind when they implement their ventures. Yeah. So this is you'll get lots of 3 more tips from everybody tonight.
And if you want to become a mentor, think about it and let me know. Just saying.
So with all that, and without further ado, to hear who the winners are, and then hopefully all of us have a lovely drink together and celebrate all those 19 amazing people. Let's give a really big round of applause to the 2 winners, who are Sri Krishna and Vanessa. Thank you all so much for coming out, spending this evening together with us. We hope you take some inspiration home. We hope you take another drink with us. We hope you have lovely conversations. Thank you very much. Very well done. 19 more relaxed faces. Let's have a drink together. Thank you.